I always do, I am one who is big on t-shirts. I wear a t-shirt. I try to wear a t-shirt every Monday or every show. So today, just a little tidbit. I'm wearing a shirt. It's a black on black, and it's just simple. It just says dope. So that's how I feel today. I feel like I'm gonna be dope. I'm gonna have a dope day. I got some dope guests with me, so I think I have the right thing. So as I always say, people, you know how to get with me at sportsrap_B on Instagram and Twitter, and you know the Facebook group. Hit me up. I will wear your stuff. You get me some shirts or whatever. I will wear your merchandise. I will brand for you, you know, and I can help people advertise. As always, just go to my page, check me out, or send me a message, send me an email, and we can talk about how we can get that done. Today's shirt was done by a very close person of mine, my wife, Hope Gaines, and her Instagram is I Make It Yours with underscores in between all the words. Personalized t-shirts, so you can get with her. If you can't get with her, you can get with me, and we can get you organized, and we can make it yours. So you can give us designs, we can design them for you, or however you want to do it. So I Make It Yours, so it's I_make_it_yours, and you can get with her and get your t-shirts done. So getting back to my friends here in the building today, Coach Mo, I know the coaching thing, and we've talked before. We talked about the basketball thing several times. How did you get involved, and how did you come about to be the GM of this team?
So it's very interesting how I got involved. I actually had seen that the Yaden Kings had started to follow me, so on Instagram. So right away, I contacted Leon Howard, who is basically a figurehead in Yaden. You know, he runs the YEAA, and he's been doing YEAA, which stands for Yaden Athletic. Yaden Athletic Association. So he's been running that for a while. So anything that usually moves in our area, we know about. So the first thing I'm like, Leon, who's the Yaden Kings? What's going on here? Who's the, where is this coming from? And I was like, is this real? Because, sometimes you see fake pages and stuff. So Leon was like, I don't know. Like, let me do my research. So then, like, 24 hours later, this guy, I hear Brian is, he's part of the, owning the business. So I just was like, okay. So me and Brian talked. I had a meeting with Brian. Brian has known me ever since I was younger. Like, I want to say 11 years old. He's known me. I grew up on Yaden Avenue. My mom lived on Yaden Avenue and my grandma lived on Belly Road. So I would always play in his backyard because that's where all the athletes would hang out. Like, it was this girl named Samara Campbell that had an arm like nobody's business, and we used to think Samara was going to go play football, and Brian always used to encourage her, yo, keep throwing. And during that time, it wasn't, girls weren't in those type of sports. So he used to always motivate us and say, like, listen, you stick with your game. Like, I was big, I was taller than everybody else, all the guys coming up, but he always just supported and put motivation in our heads to continue no matter what, and that's where we started to grow. Like, I knew his grandma, his mom, it was a lot in our community that we knew what was going on, and he always pushed athletics. Everybody that was involved in sports had to stop past his house. Like, he knew everybody that was involved. So he's, like I said, he knew me since I was a young kid. He always inspired me. And then from that time, he explained to me what he was doing with the Yaden Kings. Then I had a meeting with Slim. And then from there, the offer was on the table. They had other people that they could have chosen from as well. But like I said, I'm very thankful for the opportunity. I feel like having this opportunity and being from Yaden, they made the right decision. And I think I'm the best to be able to manage and organize the team and run it to success. I take what I do very serious.
So
She's been a blessing.
I'm glad you chimed in. She told me what Brian thought about it. And I was going to, you answered the question already. I was going to ask, how did you guys know each other? How long have you known each other? But Slim, my guy, what put Coach Mo on the radar for you guys to be even thought of as a GM?
I gotta say, a good friend of mine. Well, actually, when we were first thinking about GMs, a bunch of names were thrown around, and we all sat down. And a good friend of mine, Coach Andrew Klinkscale, he told me like a while ago when I first was telling about the team, like, yo, we need somebody, and he was mentioning her to be the coach. And once we started going through like the pluses of GMs, her name just kept coming up, and it was like, yo, it just makes sense. She's from Yaden, she's overqualified, you know what I'm saying, and I just think it's just a perfect fit. I think she just was the perfect fit, and she overstands what we try to do, and she's very focused. She's more focused than some of the ownership groups sometimes. so she keeps us in line, you know what I mean? She definitely will be needed.
Yeah, I definitely think from the few times that I have spoken with her prior to me knowing about this situation and knowing that you guys knew each other, I get the feeling that basketball is a passion.
Absolutely.
For her. I think being able to do something with basketball in the area where she grew up is a passion.
Absolutely.
For her. So again, great choice, and I think it's the perfect choice. And you know, a lot of times when we talk about professional sports and other sports, and we talk about GMs and how sometimes they come and go, I think that those two qualities that I just mentioned are fuels for her success, and I think the passion will be exhumed from her.
Absolutely.
Towards everyone else. But I just think that, and like I said, I when I first came across Coach Mo way back when, she'll tell you, myself and my wife were stunned at the fact that she was a microbiologist.
Oh yeah.
And my thing was the sports thing, and I saw her profile and I reached out, and right away, yes, well, oh, I would love to come here, no problem. And then we started talking on the air, and then she's like, well, yeah, I'm a microbiologist by trade. And me and my wife were looking at each other, and I'm looking like, wait, what? and it came out like that because we had talked so much basketball,
right?
And everything was like right on point. And then she just throws in there, yeah, well, but I'm a microbiologist, by the way, and I'm like, really? Like, really? So, you know, I understand how her profile and it jumps out at you. Absolutely. And that's just like you said, I didn't even know about the microbiology thing. I said the basketball and just her enthusiasm and her passion for the game.
Not to mention she leads Penwood in rebounds. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so Coach Mo, I know that you coach girls, and I know about team success. What types of challenges, if any, do you think will arise in you managing a men's team and putting this team together?
As far as challenges, I just feel like I'll see the challenges as they come, because I'm the type of person whereas I don't look at all the negatives that may come. I look at the positives and I deal with the challenges as they arise. As far as coaching men, I don't think I'll have that problem as far as not coaching them, but managing the team, because it's a male's team. Once again, about 2000, I want to say 2012, I had the Jumpstart League, and that ran out of Darby. And that league I ran that league, and it was all men. And we had a senior division, and then we had younger kid division. But so with dealing with men and coaching them and managing them, I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I think that I have a really good, delicate balance when it comes to negotiation and understanding of the ultimate goal is what our program and organization is about, and we cannot let that message be missed. So once a player has an understanding of that, everything's about the mission. You know, what is the mission, what is the vision, and if they align accordingly with that and they fit into our system, that's what, you know, that's how I'm going to maneuver from that. But with regard to managing males, I don't think I'll have a problem with that.
So Brian, what types of players are you guys, or have you guys talked about in designing the team and the style of play that you would like to see your team?
I'm gonna pass that over to Slim. I haven't
You pass it now, but it's coming back. You know, the ball's coming back. Alright?
Go ahead.
We're looking for players that, for me, I was just saying players that that still got a dream, you know, to want to take it to the next level. So this is the opportunity, like Mo was saying. It has always been so much talent in Delaware County, especially Yaden and Darby, and they just missed out because they were overlooked. So we're here to change all that. So that's what I would say about as far as the player.
I just feel like we want to have a good competing team, fast-paced basketball, solid defense. We're picking the coach this week, I guess. So that's what I'm excited about. Like, I know we're gonna get to the team part, but I'm more
Well, you gotta have
excited.
the coaching, please.
Yeah, I'm excited about
So-
the leadership.
And so how did that process play out for you guys? I saw you guys were posting it, I shared it a couple of times too. So how did that all work out and play out for you guys? As far as now, you said you're gonna make a decision.
Or the coaching.
Yeah.
Well, this is Mo's team, so.
So, just to add on to what they were saying, what type of players, we want players that are well-rounded, that have a good head on their shoulders, that understand offense and defense, understand systems. We want, in the ABA, what is the ABA? It's a high, fast scoring game. Everybody knows, you look at the scores are 131, 120, that's not uncommon, but that tells you what? Defense is not really being played. So with that being said, yeah, we want those shooters, we want those guns, but we also want someone that is defensive sound mind and has a defensive sound mind. And you know, with regard to coaching, this week we are doing our interviews and for our head coaches positions. And we have a little bit linger over to next week for our assistant coaches positions. By the end of this week, we will know who our head coach is. We had a really good turnout with regard to head coach positions. We had probably we were at 14. We had now 20 coaches that have applied for a head coach's position or assistant coach's position. So, you know, I think that once we have our coaches aligned, we go from there, because the type of coaches that we're looking for is, you know, coaches that have had that experience on either the Division I level, Division II level, that doesn't necessarily have to have ABA experience, but we are looking for coaches that have coached on the collegiate level, because that is the next step up. And people that have that type of network. You have to have networks when it comes down recruiting, when it comes down to scouting. You have to have a good base, and people have to have a good feel for that person. So that's the type of coach that we're looking for. So I think that's going well. Our coaching selection, player selection, like I said, we want players that want it. You know, you have the opportunity here to play for a professional team in our area and have the opportunity to get seen and exposed to scouts and agents. And that's our goal. That's definitely our goal.
Yeah, I think from what I saw from watching the Monarchs, the games that I went to, I like the pace of the league, but I also like the fact that with the Monarchs, and that was the team that I was generally focused on, they played enough defense to, at times, they had to get themselves back in the games. They played enough defense to get themselves back in the games and ultimately win those games. A lot of wins for that team. I think it was a well put together team. There were some changes as it progressed, some late additions, some late subtractions, but I think they fit well with what was going on there. So I understand how you have such a rich talent base in the Delaware County, as they can be. But again, a lot of times, like you all have mentioned, Yaden, Darby, Collindale, and those areas out there get overlooked. And I just feel like they get overlooked because people inside the city they just hear Darby and they think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or they say Darby and Yaden, that they think that's it.
Mhm.
But you have to remember, it's like Philly. Like Philly has West Philly, North Philly, and then within West Philly you got the bottom, and you got this and you got that. You
Right.
know, so there are pockets all around, and Delaware County, for people that are in Philly that are tuned in and listening, it's bigger than what you think. It's
Yes.
more than what you think.
Yes.
So it doesn't end at 69th Street and you're in Darby, and a little bit further you're in Yaden.
Yes.
That's not it.
Yes.
It branches out, it broadens out a little bit farther. And there are people there. They do the same things that we do. You know, a lot of times, and I'm glad I got you guys laughing, but a lot of times, and you know this from growing up in the hood,
Right.
just like I did, we know, so a lot of times we get caught up in our little pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear things and you be like, for real? It's like that over there? And I know that's how we were when I was younger, when we played ball. We played in our park, at Hunting Park or whatever, and we would always go with 5 or 6 people. And it was like, look, we on now, we gonna play. You better come correct, cause you might get on and you might not get on.
Right.
And then we started hearing about other players, and we was like, well, look, we play y'all all the time. We going over here today. We would go to Findlay, you know, we would go to South Philly and things of that nature. And then you build bonds
Right.
Yes.
where at that particular time, then we could go anywhere and play. And we didn't have to take a whole group with us. We can go with 2 or 3 people and we can play with some of the people there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was the same way.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, Mo, you just mentioned you used to play in his backyard.
Yeah.
And he was a big influence and a lot of camaraderie and things of that nature there. So great, this small part of the team that I'm talking to right now, I see bright things from this section. Like I said, Coach Mo
Appreciate
is I don't even know what else to ask her, because she pretty much answers everything. When I try to answer one question, she answers 3 or 4. But it's no, I mean, I can't. She can't help it, and that's what I mean about her passion for it.
That's
like
real.
she answers literally. She may not know it, and may not be intentional, but me sitting here looking at my notes, I ask her one question and she answers like 3 or 4.
Right.
But it's a great thing, and that shows me the dedication
Absolutely.
and the family base
Yeah.
that's there.
Yeah.
That's there. So with the coaching, you said you wanted coach. So how broad was the spectrum? I'm sure it was pretty wide.
Yeah, you know, we meet and we talk, and I just get them to see all the information that gets sent to me in emails. And you know, I think the biggest thing is that having a qualified person. You know, something you had spoke on, and you were just saying how when we build things as a people, a lot of times people are like, okay, yo, I need to be on this. This is you. I should be here. But you have to understand this is a business. So we can't just pick up anybody, you know, even though we know you're part of the community, there may be room for you somewhere,
Right.
but we have to also be smart about and strategic when we put people in certain positions, because at the end of the day, we want to be successful in what we do, and not saying other people will not bring success, but it's a business. So
Right.
we want people that, once again, has had that college experience. And you know, sometimes you have people applying that have only coached youth basketball. Well, there's a big difference when coaching youth basketball and dealing with grown men. You know, what do you do when a grown man gets irate with you? How do you handle that? You know, so we want to make sure that we have coaches in place that can deal with that can understand how to adjust, you know, because you don't want someone giving that negative energy. If a player is giving that negative energy, they're grown. You can't fight that back, you know. We have to have people that can handle that. So I think that's a really key element when picking a coach, just to make sure they have good temperament, and they're well respected, you know. So when, you know, the application process is it's a lot. It's not easy,
Oh yeah,
you know.
I'm sure. You know,
It's definitely not easy.
like I said, I coached with my uncle, and we coached youth.
Mhm.
But from our upbringing, it was always my uncle was the head coach. I was the associate head coach, but I was always the one that talked to the kids.
Mhm.
And it was never a moment when a kid did something or didn't do something that they got taken out of the game and just went and sat down. Never that.
Mhm.
I'm always talking to kids during the game, after the game, before the game. And I think in a lot of youth basketball, that's a lost art. I don't think they have enough or enough of the properly qualified assistants to handle that part of the aspect. And especially when you get to that 14, 15-year-old, getting ready to go into high school. And one of the things that me and my uncle used to always tell my coaches, was tell our kids and the parents, listen, we are going to prepare your kids for the next level. I mean, it may just be high school, but we're going to prepare them for the step past high school if they want to go that far. And we had parents to say, well, why are you doing that? I said, because when they get to a certain level, and I said, matter of fact, let me tell it to you this way. Let's just say your child does become well enough as far as basketball to go to a top flight Division I school. Coach is going to say, look, Jimmy, I need you to go in, I need you to rebound, play some tight D. That's all I need you to do for now. Jimmy goes out, he starts out playing his D, yada, yada, yada. Jimmy catches the ball one time in the offense and he jacks up a 3. I can tell you right now, sitting here today, that coach is going to be irate. 9 times out of 10, the first opportunity the coach can get to take Jimmy out of the game, he's going to do that. I said, but depending on that coach and the makeup of his staff, the coach ain't gonna say nothing to him when he walks past him coming out the game because he's in the game. He's not gonna say anything to him at that moment because he's got to stay focused in the game. How is your child going to handle that? Part 2, if he doesn't have the sufficient staff that's going to talk to you, kid's going to go sit. He won't talk to his teammates maybe, and you know how it can get with some teammates. Teammate might say, look, well, you weren't supposed to shoot that jump shot. The response could be, well, I was open. When you open, you're supposed to shoot. No, but the game plan was A, B, and C.
Right.
How's the kid gonna handle that? If we don't get them now, when they get to high school, they're gonna get labeled or have the potential to be labeled uncoachable. We don't want that. Especially not with our kids. Because a lot of times our kids are labeled uncoachable before that. You know, and we don't want to continue that. We want our kids to progress, and we want them to understand that you have to be able to take certain things because it's times that they are going to come about. So you being a coach mode, I understand how rigorous and how in tune you were with and precise you were with your, you know, with your selection and the guidelines for your selections. And that's only going to make the team better. Like you said, people don't understand it, and people watch things and they see things at different levels and take things for granted. You have coaches in the NBA that argue with their players. But they get to the film room, they get to practice, and they work these things out. At some point they talk and they get things worked out. You have to hash those things out in order to progress as a unit, as an individual, and as a team. So I applaud you for, you know, being the coach that you are and having the knowledge and understanding of what you want and how you want to progress, and have a coaching staff. And you have to have a disciplined coaching staff. You definitely have to have that. Because if you don't, and you have to try and read your selections and see if they can mesh together. Because if there's a conflict in the coaching ranks, it's bound to be some conflict within the team. Because players are like your kids. They're watching you. So if I'm a player and you talk to me like yada whatever, you do this and you do that, I used to always tell my kids, if I'm getting on you, that means I see something in you and I want you to succeed. Not the fact that I'm not talking to this kid. I'm going to talk to him, but I'm going to go talk to him on a different level, a different angle. Maybe pull him to the side and sit him down and say, listen, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. But I see you can do things. Look, you can go to the right easily. Go to the right. Why are you going to the left? Well, coach, I understand you're supposed to use both, but if this guy's giving you the right every time, then you take it until somebody stops it. Until somebody cuts it off. And a lot of times, I think the coaches need to build the kids' IQs or the players' IQs. And I mean that you have some guys that are high school that don't have the IQ that person A may bring. Maybe player B.
Mhm.
Man, I had the same IQ. And coaches have to understand that, and coaches have to figure out ways to fit these guys in.
Yeah.
And I think with Coach Mo's background, I think you won't have a problem with fielding a staff that'll be a cohesive unit,
Yeah.
which I think is going to work. Is going to be very, very beneficial for you guys. So,
Thank you for that. I just gonna say thank you for that because I definitely feel that's important, and then also you might have those athletes that are not playing. You know, what about those that don't go to college that are just sitting, and the opportunity is there? We're looking at those athletes as well. Athletes that may have come from JUCO, you know, athletes that just need that one last look,
right.
you know, to get over and accomplish, you know, things for sure.
So also on all levels, coach, GM, owners,
Mhm.
do you think that you guys will have teaching aspects in your entire program? And when I mean that, I know the coaching will be teaching modes because like Coach Mo just mentioned, you're going to have players from all walks of life
Yep.
that are going to try out just because it's pro, whatever, you can get paid to do this. I mean, it gets somebody that was just aka playground legend
Right.
Yep.
that's going to come.
Yep.
But a lot of times they get caught up in the mix where I'm a playground legend, I'm good, but now you got some structure. How do you adjust to having that structure?
Well, we dealt with something like that in Camden with Lenny Cook, and Lenny was a good friend of, well, is a good friend of mine now, but Lenny was a playground legend, and just bringing him in and letting some of the younger dudes learn from him gave him that responsibility to like calm down and you know really just play a role.
Right.
And allowing him to play that role gave us a lot of flexibility with the younger players and people who never played in the ABA or whatever. So it gave us I wouldn't say it was a benefit to us just having somebody like that. But we more than confident that Mo is going to be great at what she do and pick the right staff and build a winning franchise. We giving her the team 100% to, you know what I'm saying, make it work. We believe in her.
So, Brian, what other things have you done? And again, you mentioned briefly about being from Yale and kind of being overlooked. What other ideas or things sparked you into being an owner? As far as doing maybe something else, as far as with the team or whatever, what made you decide you wanted to be an owner?
Well, with Slum, we've been doing business with each other with entertainment and things of that nature, community activities. It would never in me to like be an owner of a basketball team. That wasn't even a thought. And it just came about whatever my boys doing that's positive and they want to bring me on, you know, that means something to me. So I would have the attitude, let's do it. But within this, I already got a plan already in my head that, you know, when I want to bring back to the home front, like summer camps, community thing for the kids. I'm for the kids, that's me. So this opportunity will open up another door,
Right.
like for Yade and Darby and these little community towns that we overlooked and don't get exactly what it needs for the kids. I remember growing up in Yadin, 13, 14 years old, we didn't have basketball court. They took them down in the summertime. So we couldn't play. So my mom wouldn't want me a portable court. So, and then we would get chased, oh, you can only have 3 or 4 players. And it was times when we had 2 teams that we took our Yadin and Darby kids, and my mom was the coach. And we had to go play in Myers and King Session.
Right.
You know, so to be a part of that, it was just like, wow, we came a long way, and look what we bringing back. So to bring something back home is just great. But my other experiences, I coached youth football for 4 years. I'm a volunteer for a nonprofit organization. I travel around the world and donate school supplies and do summer camp to different countries, schools. So I'm very involved. Like Mo said, I was never the guy that had this big dream, to be a professional sport player or anything like that. But I always wanted to be the one that if I can push somebody to pursue their dream, my job is done.
Cool.
So that's the type of person, man.
Yeah, so, earlier I asked about the community involvement. How did you plan to get the team involved in the community? From what Brian just said, and I love the idea and the points that you made about the summer camps and having the players involved. That also goes to what we talked off air before we went on about the NCAA thing, where now you're going to give these players a step if they move to that next level. Now they have some background in community involvement.
Absolutely.
Which is a big thing at that next level. And doing it in your own background, in your own backyard, is, I think, one of the best things that can be done. Because I'm sure you all know from the walks of life that you are in, a lot of times people get these opportunities or similar opportunities, and immediately they want to take it away from where they are. They don't want to do it where they are.
Right.
And I think it's a loss when you take it away, because, like you said, now you have the basketball team in Yaden. Now you got these people that can come to these basketball games. And people, people take this for granted. Like, we know the Sixers play in South Philly. You can get there, train, whatever. You can get there if you need to get there. But it's no better or no greater feeling than being right in your backyard. Like I was joking earlier, it was like, look, we can go right down the street and see a professional basketball game and probably know a handful of the players that are playing. It's a beautiful thing. It makes you feel proud within that community, and it brings the life back to the community. And it's great to, like I said, it's great to see the ownership from you guys that are from that area. So, with that being said, Slim, anything else that you're working on besides the team right now?
Right now the focus is the team. We putting all our efforts into this and to make this work. Everything else is just like whatever, I got a million businesses, but this is
the focus.
This
right
is
now.
it right now. You know what I'm saying? We do have, Mo just reminded me, the mascot. We're doing a mascot contest to name our mascot. Right now the top names are Sir Keith and Yadi. So we're gonna put up a poll to get those and see who votes on those, and
But that's great. Like I said, when I saw it, I even threw a name in there.
Right,
Just
right.
because. But again, like we said, now today's society, we have the social media,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure as soon as you posted that, y'all was getting hits like crazy.
Yeah, we got a bunch of hits.
And it's for me, even though I would be doing stuff to be covering the actual event, the sporting event, I always look to see what's going on around me. And I don't know if you noticed them out. When I come to games, I always like to find a corner and sit by myself so I can focus on everything. And I like to see the community involved, especially the kids, because the kids will look at those players as celebrities,
Right.
almost, and we know how many times are these kids gonna get to
Right.
Core State Center or whatever, the Wells Fargo Center, and actually get close enough to meet
Right.
one of those players, or
Exactly.
be there early enough for the shoot around to be close enough to, as we are right now, to see one of those players walk across their face.
That's real.
May not even touch them or whatever, but just see them, So they have something in their own backyard that they can reach out and touch, which I think will open some more doors for them.
And
So-
it's a $10 ticket.
Yeah, see, like I was saying, $10 a hour, you can't beat that.
Right.
$10 to get you in. So, Coach Mo, again, I know I asked you this question before, and as far as the men, which do you think is easier to coach, males or females?
You gotta put me in a tough situation right now.
Sorry.
You know,
Not sorry.
it's necessarily it's not about what's easier. It's a lot of dynamics that come into it. Like for instance, I enjoy coaching girls. I really do. I enjoy coaching women. I've coached for the Success Women's team, and I've coached at the Cobbs Creek. I've coached women, and the thing is that it all depends on the person. Like sometimes you can coach certain females and you're like, oh, she's a blessing to coach, right? She gets it, she understands. But then you have those sometimes that don't work as hard, you know. But you have the same thing on the boys' side. You got those that's going to give you 110, and then you got those that have the capability, but you know they're just not giving you 110% effort. So it's like, to me, you see both things. You know, you see guys. Now, personally, IQ wise, I think the girls have it more than the guys, because guys sometimes they'll look at a move and they'll just perform the move, but they don't study the move. They don't understand why they're performing the move. Versus girls, you can say, "Hey, Ange, why are you guys doing this? What's the reason?" "Well, Coach Mo, this is what I see, because every time she keeps going to my left hand, so I'm trying to quickly distribute the ball." Like, they'll break it down. Guys, no, I'm going at them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that females are a little better with decision making and IQ, and they understand the why more so with guys. I don't think they necessarily go after the why. It's like, yo, I'm gonna get this bucket, plain and simple.
Right.
That person was open, I'm giving them the ball. You know, so I don't think it's I can't say I enjoy coaching one or the other, because I think both of them have their own challenges. You know, and at the end of the day, as coaching, you enjoy both of it, because it does nothing but enhance you and make you better. When you learn these different characteristics and things of that nature, it definitely helps you. Definitely do. So, sorry I couldn't answer that differently.
No, that was actually
differently, but
that was actually a great answer.
Yes.
And an answer that I feel like is a more elaborate answer than I would have got from someone else. Because he broke it down on that there are similarities on both sides, but you have this on this side and you have that on that side. And like you said, you see the similarities, but you kind of understand where the women are coming from a little bit better. Like you said, the guys, it's about the machismo. Look, he's slagging off. I'm gonna get this bucket every time he slag off.
Yeah.
And with the girl, with women, it may be she's lacking off. So I'm looking to see if I can get that shot, or what else is coming that I can help out and make a better play. You know? And like you said, the guys don't get it right away. They just think we got to get a bucket. But it's more than one way that you can get the bucket than you shooting it.
Yes, and
You know?
also to just elaborate, discipline. You know, I personally think that sometimes with females it's easier to discipline them, because as female basketball players, we don't want to do anything out. Sometimes you don't want to do things outside of the norm, because you're like, you don't want to mess it up, or you don't want to make a mistake. You know, we kind of step a little bit on eggshells a little bit, whereas guys, they're risky. They're like, yo, if I see it, I'm going, you know. Then you have sometimes those females that are risky players. I mean, I've seen some point guards that, you know, have no left hand but can get a bucket right every single time, and they won't even take the risk to go to the left. They'll just go right the whole time, but they're making it, you know. So I just think there's just, you know, different aspects you can look at it, but I personally think each of them definitely have their own challenges.
Cool. So how do you guys plan to facilitate your tryouts for HIP? Are you going to have open tryouts? Are you going to have special invites?
Yeah, so I'll let the owners start off with that, because they're not talking much. I don't want to take over.
Well, in the beginning, we were going to do like 1 or 2 tryout days, and then but then Mo came up with the greatest idea to come up with let's do a combine. So that's the avenue we're going to take.
Yeah.
I think we're going to look to have maybe 2 or 3 days, and possibly maybe do different areas, like have a combine in this area, you know, just so we can reach out to people that can't, you know, get close to it. So
yeah, combine is definitely the way that we're going. definitely a way that we're going. Where
I like that idea.
it's not going to be a try, because with combines, you're going to more are going to gravitate in there, and also too, we are not against a partnershiping with someone, partnering with someone in our in the Mid Atlantic Conference, because that's what we're in. We're in the Mid Atlantic Conference. So, for instance, say if the Philly Cannons wanted to, hey, let's partner and do this combine together. So we can pull talent. I personally think it's more power in numbers than when you work together. And these guys, I wouldn't have want to work with anyone else or for anyone else, because I feel like that's their message. They want to work together. They want to build within the community. And that's another thing is businesses. I don't know if you're familiar in our area, but we don't have a whole lot of businesses in our area. So the fact that we're bringing this organization to our area, I think it will attract, where we want to use local businesses when it comes down to vending and things of that nature. We're going to go inside of our community and utilize those people and those businesses inside of our community before we're going to go outsource, because we need to bring value inside of our community. Right now, another thing that brought me even more to want to work with them is that they are concerned about our school district. Right now, we've had conversations due to this pandemic. All of our districts have to go. We have to become ready to go for internet. Everything is distant learning. So with that being said, our school district, we didn't have enough laptops to be able to do distant learning. So these guys, they were thinking about, okay, what can we do? So I think that community based and building that talent from within and building our businesses, I think that that's what we're definitely about, and we'll be able to pull that type of talent from our combine as well.
Cool. I like the idea of having a combine. It brings professionalism, and again, that word structure. Where, a lot of times if you just say open tryouts, you're going to get usually a slightly higher number of just winged players than you will actually players that are actually serious about what you're trying to do. Now, when you say combine, those winged players think a little bit harder before they say, yeah, I'm gonna go try it anyway. And that's what you want to do, because if you just open tryout, it becomes more difficult to weed out the talent that you want. When you have a combine, you can set it up where you have stations, so to speak. I'm not saying that this is what you're gonna do, but I understand, and I like the idea of having that where you can see this guy may not shoot well, but he moves his feet very, very well. He's very in tune to the game. Like, he knows what he's supposed to do. He just can't shoot that well. You can figure out a way to incorporate him into what you want to do, as opposed to someone just running out there, just running around looking to get a shot off, which I call the winged players. You're just running around, I'm looking to get my shot, play defense. No, I'm looking, my guy go by me, I'm cheating, I'm going cherry pick. No, and then get upset when you don't get it. Because no, that's not what we do. We running this offense. We're going to do this, and you gave up the basket, so why would I throw the ball to you to get you an easy basket? And a lot of times people don't understand that. Like people think, or a lot of people think that you can just go say, I'm gonna go. It's an open try. I'm gonna go play, but not realizing, not looking at themselves completely. Like, I know I can play a little bit. I'm good on the playground, whatever. Haven't really played. They never think, well, I never really played much structured ball, so I could get out there and not know what I'm doing. And then on the other side, they don't ask. Now, when I played, I was always one to ask questions. If I did something on the court and the coach looked at me funny, first opportunity I got, coach, what's up? You holler at you. What? I did what you said. No, you didn't do what I said. You were supposed to make a V cut and you did a UCLA cut. Okay, I got you. Like, I was always one to want to know what I did, because I'm in tune to everything. And I'm on the court and I walk past the coach and the coach looked at me funny. First thought is, what did I do? And if I can't figure it out, I think I'm at a loss to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I could hurt the team even more than what I may have already done, not knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what to do and what not to do, so I don't do it again. Or if I make the mistake again, I can go to coach and say, "Look, coach, I got you. I know what I was supposed to do. I don't know what I was thinking about, yada yada yada, but I know what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes my way, it comes. But when it does, I know what to do,
Yeah.
as opposed to me just being out there and like, well, wait, you said a B cut, and I did a UCLA cut. Like, no, I went to the baseline,
Mm-hmm.
and then the coach would be looking at you like, yeah, that's what you weren't supposed to do.
Right.
You're supposed to go this way, you know. So I think that's a great idea, having the combine. So we're at 12:14, and I'm sure that once these things go up, announcements and all of that, Slim will be in touch with me. He'll tag me, he'll send me stuff. I will definitely repost, and you know, I will let people know what's going on my end when tryouts begin. I'm sure I'll be alerted with that, and I will do my diligence. And because I'm telling this to you guys right now, I'm not going to just send you anybody. Okay, so you got my word on that. I'm only going to talk people that are serious about what they want to do, whether it's something with the business or something playing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not serious, then I can't be involved.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, like I said, now we got 12:15. So we can talk some basketball now, just some regular basketball.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys. First, before we get in there, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to come in and sit and chat with me
Thanks for
and
having us.
introduce the team to the area. Before we go, I want to get pictures of you guys just in front of things so I can post the pictures for later, whatever, but we'll get to that. But we talked all this basketball about building teams and coaching players and building players. The Last Dance, episodes 9 and 10 yesterday, the culmination of the second three-peat and a lot of behind the scenes throughout the entire series. But last night's episodes, I was very anxious to see as I watched completely all the way through. I was very anxious to see how they closed out the end of the series. And one of the things I couldn't understand was why they didn't want to keep that team together for at least another season. And I mean, personally, I think in that whole run, the whole 8-year run, I think they could have won 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have won 8 if Mike's incident with his father passing took a lot out of him because of how close they said that they were, and I totally get that. But one of the things I enjoyed the most about it, and this is stuff that I tell people all the time when people ask me about the comparisons with Mike and LeBron, and I've since, for the past year or so now, I've since decided on my own to just remove myself from any of those conversations. I can't, but I can't do it anymore because I'm a student of the game, and I was just in a conversation this morning before I came in on social media with a couple friends, and I tell people all the time, I posted a picture a couple days ago, and somebody posted about LeBron having a higher playoff average than MJ in the finals, and like the wording really threw me, and I had to comment. Like I said, I tried my best to stay away,
I think I saw it.
but the wording was like, this is what his points were in three finals losses, and this is with his most in 3 finals wins. And I'm looking, and I'm like, all right, so y'all comparing his numbers, and then it took me back to what I saw and some of the other memes that I've seen. Like there was a meme that was going around with when all this Jordan LeBron stuff came up with Scotty and Mike sitting on the bench, and the meme was like, yeah, you talk about this, that, and the third. It was like, well, what's a game 7? You know, they said you're going to game 7. What's a game 7? And then you get to that thing where people have been saying Mike didn't beat anybody. And that was the point that made me remove myself. And I said to people, I said, so Mike didn't beat anybody. I said, he beat 2 Hall of Famers twice. And it was like, he beat the Utah Jazz twice. Karl Malone, John Scott, and I mean Karl Malone, arguably the best power forward to ever play the game.
Arguably.
Mike didn't beat anybody. True, arguably, but Mike didn't beat anybody.
No, that's true.
He beat Phoenix. At the time, Phoenix had another Hall of Famer, Charles Barkley. Didn't beat anybody. He beat Magic. He had to get through Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas,
Reggie Miller,
Patrick Ewing, and he went through a lot to get to where he was. So I tell people all the time, I said, I personally think that they could have won 8. And I said, it's unprecedented the way that played out. He came back, they got beat, and the media immediately, oh, maybe he doesn't have it anymore. Oh, okay, y'all wasn't paying attention to the first 3 when people started talking trash to Mike, and you see how that turned out for them.
right?
So y'all want to say he lost the step and whatever. So, and look what happened. He came back and they won 3 more. Unprecedented. You know, I said, as hard as it is to win 1, you get 2, you sitting on some gold. To get that 3rd one is extremely hard. But to win 3 in a row twice, and at times there were only really 2 stars on a lot of those teams. A lot of those other guys, some of those other guys were made stars because of the roles that they played with them. But they were literally, if you boil it down, 2 stars. It was Mike and Scotty. It was Mike and Scotty. I mean, I tell people they won 6 championships without a dominant center.
But you can't forget Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest rebounders.
Right, and that's what I say. And they got Dennis Rodman,
Right.
and a lot of people were saying, well, why are they getting Dennis Rodman and this and that? I told people, listen, if I'm starting a basketball team and Dennis Rodman is at my access,
Give me him.
he's on my team any day of the week. And I think that was the same way that Mike and Scotty felt. It was like, look, we played against him in Detroit. Man, I don't care. You can have purple hair, green hair, whatever. As long as he does what he's supposed to do when he steps in them white lines and he understands what we're trying to do as a unit, we'll be fine. And they were, for the most part, they were fine.
That's right.
But people talk about, well, yeah, they said, but we knew Dennis's Andes.
Right.
We knew that. And a lot of times people also forget where Dennis Rodman came from.
Right.
He came from a small town in Texas.
Right.
Where he went to play basketball and he was like, yeah, all right, okay, I'll play.
Yeah.
To being a star,
Dating Madonna.
to being able to do whatever he wanted from prior to when he grew up. I'm not gonna say it changed him, but it opened his eyes to a lot more that he had ever seen in his life. And he took full advantage of it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
He took full advantage of it. You know, like you just said, Slim, he was dating Madonna.
Right.
A global icon to this little kid from Texas that was getting in trouble, didn't know where his future was, at one point or another was homeless.
Right.
To now, I'm dating Madonna. You know, so in the story, I like the facts and the way that they broke everything down when they introduced their next point. Whoever it was focused on, they went back to how they began and how they got into being incorporated with the Bulls, which I think was a great thing, and I think it was really good for a lot of people who thought they were basketball fans, thought they were true basketball fans, to really see the makeup of a championship pedigree team and how they had bumps along the way, but the ultimate goal still held them together in some type of way. So how do you guys feel about it?
I just wanted to say you brave for having that conversation. It's 3 conversations I don't have. 1 is religion, 2 is who's the greatest rapper, Jay-Z or Biggie, and 3 is who's better, LeBron and Michael Jordan, because it's always going to turn to argument.
Yeah, it's always going to turn for me. Yeah, and that's
those
what I
are
said.
3 arguments waiting to happen.
But like I said, when I saw that picture, I had to comment on that picture. But now I don't even. I see stuff all the time. People tag me and stuff and send me stuff, and I just look at it. Comparison. Nope.
Yeah, they
Because
conversations.
you're not
I
gonna
stay
like what
away
I'm
from.
gonna say.
Right.
It's that simple. And I think that's because a lot of the people I talk to don't realize that my basketball, I was a student of the game. So I studied. So I can go back and tell you stuff as far as Oscar Robinson,
Right.
Slick Watts. I can go back that far. And a lot of times I talk to people when I start throwing names out like who? What? But you ain't that old. Yeah, I might not be that old, but I understood and I was a student of the game. You know, I said, y'all talk about LeBron averaging 30 or whatever. I said, you can't touch him. He's 6'8", 250, and you can't touch him. Mike was 6'6", 215, got beat up constantly.
Basketball was rougher back then.
Constantly. Coaches, basketball, yes, a lot rougher, a lot more physical. Coaches in his era said, listen, Pat Riley, perfect example. Don't let him dunk on you. You have to knock him to the floor. Coach Mo was laughing, and I kind of chuckled when I heard it the first time too. And you think, as a coach, what the hell are you doing? You're not gonna tell your kid, oh, he dunked on you. No, you can't. No, just knock him to the floor. You're not gonna tell him that. But at that particular time, he was doing so much that they felt like that was the only way, and he still got through.
Yeah. I don't know. It's amazing. The Last Dance to me is first of all the history. I think this set aside everything else. You know, the history is just very, very informative to let you know. And like Phil Jackson, like I give a lot to him because to me, like what I took from everything, I didn't even take the comparison. I did not watch The Last Dance and start comparing. What I thought and looked at was the journey. You know, it's so much substance in every single last one of those players. And if you really listen to the interviews and the feedback, like you as an athlete, you say, my God, like how did they get through it? You know, when you talk about why there wasn't a 8, you know, well, their owner had a lot to do with that. I personally think it was the media and the owner that disbanded that team. You know, and then you had the issue with Scottie Pippen, you know, him being underpaid, you know, and that's another thing. Athletes, I hope they're paying attention. Read your contracts, understand your contract. Being paid $18 million for 7 years is nothing, you know, and the wear and tear that went on his body, you know. So I just feel like he needed to have somebody that was knowledgeable in his corner, and he really was so focused on playing that he wasn't thinking about his contract, you know. And I think that, you know, you just learn about staying together. How did they stay together? Letting Dennis Rodman be him. How do you deal with that? A man comes in with a dress on, you know, but at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? We're accepting him for who he is.
Right.
He can do all the work that we need him to do on the court. What he does outside, as long as it doesn't affect our team. So many people today, when you talk about, you know, I see coaches, for instance, the coach from Oregon posted the other night, he said, the game back then, he felt as though that the game back then was not well coached. He feels as though that the game of today, the NBA of today, is way better than the NBA back then. It was so much back and forth comments on that just one post alone, which to me was interesting because I personally think that back then they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot. Like you can't take away what happened back in the day versus now, you know, and compare and contrast. LeBron James, one of the only players that can play 5 positions. I mean, show me somebody else that can play all 5 positions. When you talk about Pat Riley making a comment of don't let them dunk on you, MJ, like, yeah, that's something you got to tell your players, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. You can't say, oh, you know, you can stop him because we knew that, you know, his first step. Yep. And his hang time, you know, his maneuvering in the air. Like so many people cannot do that, you know. So I don't compare. To me, what's exciting is the journey. You know, I paid attention a lot to Phil Jackson. Paid a lot of attention to body language. You know, so I love The Last Dance, but I just really hope that people take the real message from it. Right. You know, and not just comparing. not just comparing.
Now, just to piggyback a little bit on what you just said about you hoping people take the right message.
Mm-hmm.
There was a part, I forget which episodes it were, and right after, I think it might have been 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
and or it might have been 5 and 6, whatever. But people immediately on social media started saying, "Oh, Mike, I didn't know he was such an a-hole." You know, I had an uncle that called me and was like, "Yo, I lost the respect for him," and I'm like, "So why are you guys saying that? What are you talking about?" It's like, "Well, yeah, you know the way he talked to people and this and that and the third." I said, "Listen, see, I have to disagree with you, see, because my upbringing around the game, I would have loved to have a teammate like that."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I said, you take for instance the Scotty Burrell stuff that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
How he would talk to Scotty Burrell. He even said he was like, "Look, I even said I tried to fight him," and he said the bottom line was I wanted them to remember this, so when they got in that moment, there wouldn't be any hesitation, there wouldn't be any fear. Same way he did with Steve Kerr. Like he said, Steve Kerr and Steve Kerr got into a fight, not a fight, but they got into a little fisticuff,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And you know, Mike said, "Phil talked to me," and he immediately, "Look, I knew, right, you're right, I was wrong, I apologize." Got in his car, he said, "Somebody get me his number," and called him. And then against Utah, Steve Kerr was bricking the joint up. He was building a house.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike still, "Listen, this is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready to shoot."
Mm-hmm.
And Mike was trying to do it discreet, because he said, you know, like Steve Kerr broke it down. He knew the media, if there's a camera there, it's going to be on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "But I'm yelling, I'm going to be ready, I'm going to be ready." And what happened? They showed the play, they showed it. He hit the shot that he needed to hit. He was 0 forever.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, there was no hesitation, there was no fear. He was ready. And that was from him pushing him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with that game with Scotty. I think it was against that series against the Charlotte Hornets, where Scotty Burrell had to play, because I think Scotty was injured or something. He ended up giving them 23 points off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in a rhythm in that game like, I should be here all the time. Not just because somebody hurt, now it's my turn.
Right.
I should be doing this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's overlooked in a lot of team-based issues with players and having captains. And it's like, yo, you gotta push these things. I used to always tell my kids when we were practicing, we running suicides. I need you to do a suicide in this amount of time. Listen, your teammates dragging. Why y'all yelling at him? Hurry up, hurry up. How about somebody go pick him up and help him across the line? I never said you had to run across the line.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to do it as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have more respect for you if you go back and pick that teammate up, and both of y'all walk or crawl or fall across that line than I will for you running and yelling at him, "Yo, now we gotta run more because you slow."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bring your teammate with you. No one, Mike even said it. You know, we talk about Mike as the greatest. He even said it. I needed Scotty.
Right.
That last game against the last finals, that last game against Utah, with Scotty's back was giving him problems. He told Scotty even said Mike told him, "Look, just be out here. I just need you out here." That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Because they knew if we've been through so much, I know you're not gonna let me down, and I know you not gonna let me down. And the three of us doing what we do, we gonna pick the rest of them up, and they not gonna let us down. But I need you out here. I don't need you to stress. I don't need you to overwork yourself. I just need you out here. And it worked for them. So I think people can take, like you said, Mo, I hope that people take the right message from what they saw. And saying that Mike was an a-hole, I think was a little far-fetched.
Yeah, I totally, and striving for greatness is a lifetime achievement. You know, it's a lifetime. Jordan wanted to be great. He wanted, hands down, he wanted to be great. What do leaders do? They make the people around them leaders as well, but they build them. They see what they're great at. Scotty, he seen that Scotty was going to deliver the ball when he needed to. He was going to be that grunt worker. He seen Dennis was going to also grab boards. Like, he pulled the greatness out of them, telling them what they need, what he needed from them, but also showed what they were great at. Like, you knew Kirk could shoot. Keep shooting. You might be bricking them, but keep shooting. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think the biggest thing is that to players of today, some of them don't want to be role players. And that's the thing. In order to, you know, I always use this quote, whatever you are, be a good one. Abraham Lincoln, because people don't want to do that nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to, whatever I'm great at, it's like, no, I don't want to do that. No, perfect your craft. Perfect your craft, because it's greatness within your gift. And I think that if more players would think like that, more championships would be won,
Mm-hmm.
more accolades would be achieved. But people have to be on the same page of thinking that, you know, Jordan, yeah, of course the greatest player of all time is going to be called an a-hole. You know, that's not uncommon. But just like LeBron James is called that as well. You know,
Yep.
but look at their achievements versus looking at comparison. You know, you should be thinking, how do I strive for that greatness?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think that he was a-hole, and even if he was, talking to players, that's another thing, the thing that you brought out about harsh language or harsh words. Yeah, being an athlete, you have to have thick skin. Nobody,
Yep.
we clearly don't want to curse people out and be rude or disrespectful, but you have to be able to
Get your point across.
exactly accept
Mhm.
constructive criticism. And you know, there's a right way and a wrong way to talk to everybody, but you know what, during game time, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and I'm the captain, yeah, sometimes I might say things that you may feel maybe, oh wait, why did she have to come at me like that? But at the end of the day, I mean well, and we
Right.
know Jordan meant well.
Absolutely.
You know, so I really think people need to stop comparing and be concerned about the journey and strive for greatness.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any points? Any other points?
Any other? You know,
Yeah,
I
so-
love this. You know what I'm
Yeah, so
saying? This
it's-
is what we love. Like,
It's crazy. I think also the fact that as the captain of that team,
mhm,
Jordan knew what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Or let me just say, he felt with his competitive nature and him wanting to be great, he felt, I'm the captain, I'm the alpha dog,
Mm,
I gotta win this game, I gotta make sure we win this game,
Mhm.
however that comes about. Like, I gotta take the shot, or somebody else is taking the shot, but I have to do everything in my power to make sure that we win this game.
That's
Mhm.
real.
And he owned that.
That's real.
The one shot that he missed, I think it was against Utah in the first series,
Mm-hmm.
or it might have been in a Eastern Conference. Or you know what? It was the Indiana, one of the Indiana
I
series.
think it was
Yeah,
Indiana.
where he got cut. He got
Oh,
cut.
right,
He
right.
had a bad game. And, you know, he knew the play was coming to him at the end, as everyone in the world knew. Like Reggie said, everyone in the world knew
He
where the
was
ball was
to-
going. We knew who was going to get the ball,
Mhm.
and he missed that shot. But he was the type that, as we say, as an athlete at that high level, you gotta have short-term memory. His was extremely short. In my opinion, I think he was done with it by the time he got off the floor and into the locker room. He was done with it. And like a couple times, he was at press conferences and he tells people, "Oh, it was just a bump in the road. I think we'll be all right in the next game," because he knew what he was going to do.
Mhm.
The same thing with B.J. Armstrong
Mm-hmm.
after he had retired and came back, and B.J. was now with the Charlotte Hornets, and B.J. had that great game.
Mhm.
And BJ's like, yeah, well, I yelled, and dude, you should have knew that was the wrong way to go about that.
Mhm.
Play the game and let the game speak for itself. Because you know, you taunt this dude,
Mm-hmm.
you got a serious ass kicking coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and whatever way it comes, it's like, look, oh, all right, y'all beat me up with the Pistons. Y'all beat me up, y'all knocked me down. We gonna beat y'all. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but I'm coming back, and eventually we gonna beat y'all. And eventually they did.
That's real.
You know, and just his competitive nature, like the instance with Magic Johnson when they were in the final against Portland, and they were talking that Clyde was just his equal and this and that. He felt, no, he's not my equal, and I'm gonna show you that he's not my equal. Everything that Mike did, if someone told him that he couldn't do it,
He did it better.
he did it better.
Mhm.
Like who was it? I think it was Judd Bushner. We talked about the incident or not the incident, but they were on the plane. Ron Hartman, they were in the back. They were playing the guys who were making more money. They're playing for bigger money.
Mhm.
Mike goes up to the front with Steve Kerr and them, and they playing for $1 a hand. You know, so they're like, yo, why in the world would you want to play cards with us? And he said that Mike said, so I could say I got your money in my pocket.
Yeah, and they said that, that's all he would say.
You know, and they said that's all he would say. But the same way. Again, I go back to the Scotty Burrell thing when they talked about them, when they showed that part when they were at practice, and he's like, "Look, Scott Burrell. He's going in, and he's like, and Scott Burrell's like, no, I want you, you know." And then Mike is like, "Yeah, well, you better watch out for the alpha dog. Big dog, he like the shit out you." But he never backed down, and him and Steve Kerr earned Mike's respect in two different ways. Steve said, "I had to defend myself. I got tired of it. I defended myself in that way." Said Scotty Burrell just took it. Okay. All right. You want to fight? No, I don't want to fight you. But I'm still going to guard you in practice. Whatever. You can kick my ass all day long. In practice tomorrow, I'm guarding you again. And then again, like I said, Scotty got that moment, gave up that 23, and it was like he felt like you could see it in the game that it was no question, like, yeah, okay, I had to come off the bench and now I got to do this, so all right, let's do it. There's no question, no hesitation. So again, like you said, Coach Mo, I think a lot of the stars today don't want to fully be that alpha dog. They want to be the alpha dog, but they don't want to be that full alpha dog. And I see nothing wrong with players being an alpha dog, like Coach Mo said. Listen, dude, you fucked up. You didn't cut. You didn't set that pick. Yo, set that pick the next time.
But we're building this culture of, oh my God, did I just say something wrong? You know what I'm saying? Sports is not like that. Sports has never been like that. You know, sports has always been something to bring people together, that you point out the flaws that people have, and you like one thing I like about also The Last Dance, it shows how they would talk to each other, but it wouldn't make them like internally hurt here. People of today, it's like they take everything to heart. You know, you critique somebody's game and automatically they crumble here, versus saying, okay, maybe I need to watch more film of myself. Maybe it's a possibility I might not understand what foot I'm stepping off of, or my form may be incorrect. You know, the person may have a point, you know, but I don't think like everyone thinks like that. And that's why I feel like some people will never be great, because you don't take it that way. You know, you just take it as, oh, this person's hating. You know, it's hating, and it's not hating, it's helping you. It's getting, and that's why, like Steve Kerr, look what he came, like from all that MJ built in him, that he brought toughness to Steve Kerr, and that's a character building thing. You know what I'm saying? And the Burrell, like, he might not have brought the toughness because Burrell was already tough. He just said, "I'm not folding. I'm not folding. No matter what you throw at me, I am not folding." What happened to those type of characteristics in basketball? You know, so it's I just really think that that's something we need to really focus on, because I think if we can build that mindset, it goes back to what you're saying. If we build that mindset at the youth, then by the time they become adults, they can handle themselves better in certain situations. I mean, imagine if you were a player that had a coach like Bobby Knight and is back in his younger years. How do you adjust to that? Now, some people of today would say, "Oh, no one should ever deal with that type of coach." Yeah, was he out of line in some ways? Of course, but also there was a lot of learning from that. A lot of players today would say, "I still play for him. I would definitely go back and play for." Why is it that those players feel that way? They learned something. They learned something. We are missing in athletics. We are missing the character building blocks. And that's what, like, I really hone on to when coaching, because of the fact that we're missing those character building blocks. You know, we're not teaching kids about toughness anymore. We're not teaching kids about transparency and being honest about if you don't know how to do things, you know? So it's just things we just have to build on to make better athletes.
I think that's another thing, like you said, it's a building thing where sometimes our kids are scared to ask or scared to say they don't know. You know why? Why do you think?
Scared to fail.
Inferior. If you don't know, if you're sitting in amongst a room and everybody knows, and you're the one that doesn't know, you're not going to speak up.
Absolutely.
You're going to try to blend. But what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to blend when that question gets asked you. You can't answer it. So how do we? And then you start to be fearful.
Right.
How do we fix that?
And I used to always put that out there to my kids when we had our little sit downs after practice or whatever. Listen, I'm gonna say stuff. If you don't know or you don't understand, now's the time to tell me. I said, because I can explain it to you in full detail, and while we're sitting here in this practice room, I can show you. When we get in a game, if you ask me then, my answer is going to be short if I'm able to answer you at that moment. So it's best that you do it now, where we'll know when we get to that point, you can just look at me and, you know, go ahead, keep going. You know what to do.
I think a big part is a lack of male involvement in the youth. I think it really start right there for real. You know what I'm saying?
And I also think one of the other things with some coaches today, where as far as the youth and dealing with the parents, either they don't want to or they don't know how to tell a parent, your kid is not as good as you think he is.
Right.
I think that is a disservice to the parent and to the child and to the coach himself.
A lot of time it's a lot of pay and play though, so
Yeah.
People more concerned about lining their pockets than
Absolutely.
really taking care of the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of times when I was coaching, you know, there were moments when we were after games and parents would come in like, yo, y'all gotta leave.
Right.
And parents would look at me like, well, my son. Okay, but your son plays on my team, not you.
Right.
You can stand outside the locker room, but you gotta leave.
Right.
I need to talk to these kids.
A conversation Mo and I had was about like the professionalism of the players going back to the team. But like one thing we did talk about is making sure that they have a standard of dressing before the games, how they carry themselves. So we're gonna be real strong on maybe y'all dudes gotta come to the game in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Like not so relaxed, just a little more professional. Like just get the professionalism early, because that's, you know, a lot of them are lacking that. Just knowing how to be a man for real.
Absolutely.
You know
Yeah, absolutely. And just to close out, great dialogue, great conversation from all of you. Again, I thank you again for taking time out of your day to come and sit and chat with me, present the Yaden Kings to the world. I wish you all the success. I will be around because I know Slim is gonna be hitting me up, and
Absolutely.
hopefully Coach Mo as well, giving me dates and stuff. So I will be around, and I will do some things, of course, you know, because that's what I do. But lastly, I want to just leave the people with this, and I want more people to try this. And this is just as far as being able to understand basketball, all facets of basketball, and growing your basketball IQ. And I'm speaking to a lot of the youth when I say this, and then some coaches and some other people as well. What I found myself doing, and my partner Baldy that was here, that's usually here with me, what we found that we've started doing over the past several years is we watch basketball games with no sound. And I told somebody at work, I said, well, no, I can't watch the game really here because y'all gonna have the sound on and we gonna be talking back and forth in the game and I may miss something. And they're like, well, what you mean you gonna miss something? I said, it's hard for me to explain it to you when you haven't done what I've done as far as being a player, coach, and a referee. I look at the game, but I'm looking at, as we like to say, the game within the game on all facets, from the gameplay to the coaches and what the coaches are doing, what the referees are doing, how they're calling the game. I just feel like it's better for me with no sound because I can visualize it. And like we know, especially NBA, it's entertainment. We know it's basketball, but we also know it's entertainment. So you tend to get caught up in the entertainment.
Right.
The commentators, like LeBron makes a dunk, you know, like Mike Breen, bam, stuff like that, and you're like, oh, darn it, I missed it. Now you gotta wait for the replay. You know, just sit back, relax, turn sound off, watch the basketball game. Forget about the fans, forget about who's playing as far as their star status. Look at 10 basketball players on the court playing basketball, 3 referees, see how all these interactions go.
Mhm.
It will definitely help you with your IQ. It will help you as far as your mannerisms, your understanding of how you're supposed to handle yourself on and off the court.
Mhm.
It will help you, Coach Mo. It will help you understand how to deal with and talk to your coaches. It will help you understand and deal with and be able to talk to officials. Now, I was always one for telling my kids, don't say nothing to the referee.
Mhm.
I got that. Your job is to play basketball. During the plays I tell you to play, whatever, you play basketball. Referee makes a call, he made the call. You know, you driving to the basket, you keep getting fouled, and you coming to me, yo, coach, they smacking me all over. Coach, the ref ain't calling nothing. I'm about to, no, you're not. What you're going to do is you're going to keep driving to the basket. I'll talk to the referee, but you're going to keep driving to the basket. You're not going to say nothing to him. And a lot of times, as a player, you don't understand how that could turn against you. And you could be, it could be something simple as, yo, ref, on a foul shot, yo, ref, every time I go to the basket, they smack me. Okay, but you could have one of them referees that is coaching the scoreboard.
Right.
And we have those coaches. Well, you know, from coaching, you know, you have referees that coach the scoreboard. And he may say something to you like, well, y'all winning by 30. If I give you another foul, it ain't gonna change the complexion of the game.
Nah.
But as a player, your thought is like,
Oh.
like Coach Mo said, yo, you disrespecting. Why you hating?
Exactly.
I'm giving to the ref. Why you hating? He hacking
Yeah.
me. You know?
Yeah.
But you have to understand, and I mean, I've been in that situation. I've had referee games, and perfect example I use, I'm refereeing at, over at, Finley, not Finley, wherever I was at, but guy goes to the bag, it's like a minute left in the game. His team is up 30. Guy drives to the basket, he makes the layup, and then the guy smacks his hand. And I'm standing right there watching. I'm actually made the layup, ball goes in, I smacked him a little bit. Alright, I didn't call it, because it was the team that was already up, now they up 32. Go down the court, somebody gets fouled, and I'm standing, I'm on the top, and the kid's outside. He comes to me and says, ref, you missed that fucking foul. First of all, watch your mouth.
Right.
You about to get attacked, watch your mouth. Turn to his coach, yo, say something to him. I don't want him talking to me. Well, he can't talk to you? Not right now. I don't want him talking to me right now. Say something to him. Coach didn't want to say nothing to him. After the game, I catch the kid and I say, listen, you gotta understand something. I said, I didn't call that foul because you made the layup. Yeah, but he fouled me. Not saying that I'm coaching the scoreboard, but when you made that layup, you went up 32 points.
Mm.
The team you was playing didn't shoot a 3-pointer the entire game. So it was a minute left. It was like maybe 14-minute halves or whatever. So for 19 minutes, 17 minutes, whatever, they shot not one 3-pointer. Did you really think that one extra point was gonna make a difference? It's not gonna change the complexion of the game. It's a blowout, either way you look at it.
Mhm.
Now, if you had missed that shot, even though you was up 32, I would have gave you the foul because you got fouled. But you made the layup first, and then he fouled you. Or it might have even been simultaneously. The ball went in, I'm not calling that foul at a minute left in the game. I don't care who you complain to. You complain PIAA, whatever, and I'll tell them the same thing. You know, I'm out here reffing the game, but I'm also trying to teach along with
Right.
what I'm doing. Like, I can't call that. I said, this is the community. I said, if I was in the public league and I made that call, the next time I came down the court, I would have been everything that the coaches wanted to call me. And you see Coach Mo, she knew. It's just the way that
Listen,
it's
I'm
just.
nice to the zebras.
But no, I mean I understand, but you understand what I meant, and I knew that when you had that reaction. I
No,
understand.
yes,
No,
for sure.
I would have been. My name would have been Mud
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the public league.
Pretty
It would have been Mud.
Yeah.
People would have been seeing me rapping. They'd have been like, "Oh,
Here he comes.
he got him
Yeah.
again. What is he going to do to help me lose this game today?" So, you know, I think we covered a lot. You know, we got some educational pieces in, like I like to do, as Coach Mo knows from when she was here before. But again, beautiful thing. Again, I wish you all the success with the Yaden Kings I hope that you guys feel the team is everything that you're looking for, and you know, nothing else. I wish you the best.
Appreciate you.
But before we go, just everyone just go through and give out your Instagram handle so people will know how to contact you if they need to get in touch with you, like to get in touch
Oh,
with you.
so
Ladies first.
these guys are hilarious.
You know
Wait till we
what?
get out of
See,
here.
I got your back, Coach Mo. See, they keep putting Coach Mo on the spot. I'm going to give everybody's handle.
Ladies first.
To my immediate left, if you're looking at the screen, to my immediate left, you got Bryant Tucker. Bryant B. Tuck at CountyMade_Tuck on Instagram. All these handles are going to be their Instagram handles. In the middle, you got Coach Monique Boykins at Coach_Mo_Boykins, and owner Darren Akers, aka Slim, at Dead Poets Society, Poets with a Z. That's where you can find them. And you know, if you can't get a hold of them, you can get a hold of me, and I can point you in the right direction or get the information that you need at SportsRap_D on Instagram and Twitter.
And also at Yaden Kings
Yaden
Instagram.
Kings.
Follow us on
And
Instagram.
follow the Yaden at Yaden Kings on Instagram, and they have a Facebook page as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Yaden
do.
Kings Facebook page. Look them up, follow them, tell them Sports Rap sent you. And again,
if there's any positions that people are interested in, our positions actually go down to they went down on Sunday. But if there are any last resumes that someone might want to try to get in, you can email me at mo_boykins@YadenKings.com. Like I said, we are starting our coaching interview process this week. And if there's any other positions that people feel like, hey, I might be interested in, please email us.
absolutely. So there you go, Joe. It's a chance to work for something big in your community, in your backyard. With that being said, it is 5 minutes to the 1 o'clock hour. As usually, I would say be great on purpose, but continuing with our quarantine and pandemic, I now say be safe on purpose. I will see you all week on social media and next Monday here live. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks my guests. Enjoy, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.